We had friends that lived here.
It's a pleasant morning for Jeff Weindruck and Connie Flick. But they're remembering a very unpleasant time.
There was a small army of volunteers down here.
Childhood buddies from Bettendorf recall the flood of '65, walking along a flood wall that didn't exist back then.
It was just amazing, all the help that we got.
Black and white memories in this vintage WQAD news film. But the images remain quite colorful for those who were there. Without permanent flood protection, it was a fight to the finish.
You were shoveling, and they had those twist things you'd make, and then just loading them on, loading them off.
Nearly 48 years to the day when the Mississippi reached a then record crest of 22.48 feet, the middle school students joined sandbagging brigades. Schools shut down for days. It was just the right thing to do.
There must have been 15, 20 guys, and we'd line up, and you'd just pass sandbags.
People you didn't even know just stopped in and they'd work, nonstop, day and night.
Well, I was only 10 years old at the time.
Quad Cities bluesman Ellis Kell was just 10 years old in 1965.
The flood of '65 will always be the great flood to me.
Massive high water stuck with the Rock Island youngster.
I remember being down at the foot of 20th Street and standing behind the flood wall. My dad telling me on the other side the water was almost to the top of it. We were bagging at the levee and the skies were looking heavy.
Years later, he wrote a song about it. The real-life drama became a natural subject.
Along the river from the waters of the flood of '65.
Ellis Kell Sr. spent long hours on heavy equipment fighting the flood and later building the Rock Island Levee.
I think about my dad every time I go across that bridge.
Protection from even harsher flooding to come.
I can still remember coming back from Davenport to see my sister and seeing him go back and forth on that dozer.
News film details a river's wrath, struggles against current to save the Quad Cities. Without permanent protection, communities sandbagged, pumped water, and hoped for the best. Modern Woodland Park, then known as John O'Donnell Stadium, became the poster child for flooding back in 1965. But those days are over after a series of improvements. The waterlogged ballpark was adapted with berms and removable panels decades later. It saved the stadium.
Even the gates here can be shut.
Dr. Roald Sweet was a young English professor at Augustana College in 1965. He remembers the teamwork.
It is the students who came down here and built those sandbags almost by themselves that saved particularly Rock Island.
That labor inspired a levee that protects Rock Island today.
This can replace a lot of sandbagging, can't it?
A lot of sandbagging.
Then and now, Davenport's former Peterson Paper Company. The once Clayton House, a boarded-up relic these days. But there are plenty of survivors. A tribute outside Bettendorf City Hall honors sandbagging students.
Remember skipping rocks out here?
Yeah, exactly. The best feeling was when it was all done and the water started going down.
Students like Jeff Weindruck and Connie Flick.
A sense of victory, and it was really a neat feeling.
If somebody needs help, we help them out. And that's just the way it is.
Lessons from '65 they live by today. John David, WQAD News 8.